Okay, let's get back to Jonathan and David and see what we can learn from their friendship. So today we're going to look at what it means to be a faithful friend. And you know what? I have to say, I have been so blessed in my life to have so many great friends. And I'm so thankful that wherever I've gone, God has brought great people in my life. And even though I live on the other side of the world from all my family and most of my friends, God has still continued to keep those relationships strong, and for me to know that they're there for me and they have my back, and that means so much. But you know what? It is not every day that you have a Jonathan-David friendship, a friendship where you feel like your soul is knit together with that other person, where you love them the same way you love yourself. And you know what? Only God can make that happen. And many of us would say, oh, I wish I had a Jonathan-David friendship. And we should. But you know what? Let's look at Jonathan and David. They had to fight for that friendship. So if you're going to ask God for a Jonathan-David friendship, let me just also say, you better be ready to fight for it. Okay, so let's look at Jonathan and David. And we see that David is again hiding from Saul. And Saul's again ready to kill David. And Jonathan is trying to kind of see, is there any chance with his dad that we can bring David back? So they're at the feast, and Saul has realized that David's not there. First day he thought, well, you know, maybe he's unclean, maybe that's why he didn't come. Now it's the second day and David's still not there. And Saul, verse 30, chapter 20, Saul's angry. And he's shouting in, where's David? Why is he not here? And so Jonathan is defending his friend. He's the perfect, stand up for his friend and saying, he wanted to go to his home place and I gave him permission. And Saul explodes. He explodes. He curses his own son. He says, you are the son of a perverse and rebellious woman. Do you realize that as long as David's alive, you will never be the king? Jonathan doesn't care. Jonathan already knows that. Jonathan has already given over everything he has to David. And if David becomes king, it's a win for Jonathan because he loves David as his own soul. But that's not the way King Saul sees it. So Jonathan's response, though, isn't to defend him. He just says, why do you want to kill David? What has David done? And Saul does not even answer Jonathan. He picks up a spear and he just throws it at him. A sword, a spear. He's so out of his mind, he tries to kill his own son. Okay? Have you ever had people in your life like that? There's no reasoning with them. They just are just out of their mind with anger. But you know what? Jonathan was willing to put himself in harm's way for his friend because he loved his friend. He was a faithful friend. And you know what, Jonathan, in John 15:13, it says, greater love has no man than this, that he's willing to lay down his life for his friend. Of course, we think of Jesus, and Jesus is that person who laid down his life for us. And there is no one greater than Jesus, no friend greater than Jesus. But Jonathan, in this moment, he was willing to lay down his life for his friend. In Proverbs 27:17, it says, as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. And that's the kind of friendship Jonathan and David had. Jonathan made David a better person, and David made Jonathan a better person, and they were there for each other. They supported each other. They encouraged each other. They loved each other. So, going the second mile. We don't want to just be fair weather friends. I'm your friend when everything is going well, or when you have money, or when you can help me. No, I want to be a friend. I want you to be a friend that has a pure heart, a genuine heart, a selfless heart, that you're a faithful friend. Let's be like Jonathan, and let's give our heart to serving each other and not be thinking about our own agenda, but let's trust God with that and be the kind of friend that God wants us to be. Let's go sharpen each other.